Imagine you're walking down the street and you see like a cute girl or something. You think to yourself like, man, I'd really like to talk to that girl, but let's be real. Like, she won't even acknowledge me. Then it's real. Then it's real at that point.
Just made that
you know
not
what I mean?
happen.
You made that happen. You made that a
happen.
reality for yourself.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Q Up, Team Envy's official podcast. If this is your first time listening, we take you inside the world of esports and gaming with the people who know best.
Yeah, and if you guys want to keep up with us, we release the audio version on our podcast services every Monday and the video version on Wednesdays on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TeamEnvy.
We got a return guest today, Mr. Nifty Noah Francis. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, guys? I'm happy to be back. Second time.
You missed us.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Oh. Make us feel good in the morning. It's Monday.
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Trying to get the blood flowing.
Yeah, we're going to get the energy rolling.
You got a new team.
Yeah, I got a new team. Yeah,
looking
dude, I'm
good.
so excited. Yeah.
Tell us about that. What's going on?
Oh, my God. Okay, so it's amazing, right? Okay, so I essentially like handpicked these guys over the past couple weeks. I was just like spending some time thinking about, you know, who it is that I want to play with. My initial thought was like, I want to think about it in a way as like people, you know, what kind of like person is this player, right? And then kind of go down the tree per se, right? And then think about it like, okay, this guy would probably be a really good teammate, because to me, I think that's the most important part is when you're building a team in a environment like Envy has. You know, I think we get good teammates, and then I think we can accomplish anything. And just with playing with the team for 4 days so far, it's honestly
impressive.
It's
impressive is the word that comes to mind.
I've already proved to myself that like I think these guys are exactly what I had intended.
So let me take a step back here. You said playing in an environment like Team Envy has. Like, what does that mean versus not a Team Envy environment? Really?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I first ever signed on with Envy is because I think it's just one of the best places in esports to build a championship-worthy team. I think just the foundation and the infrastructure that everyone provides here, and just the whole like kind of like motto of like, you know, we treat our players very well and stuff like that, which is entirely true. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like no better place. So that's we're kind of in the beginning stages going through that. The past 4-5-ish months with the other rosters that we had, the one with Karrigan and even before that, I wasn't sure how to approach it or what to expect exactly, but this is our team now. You know, like these are our 5 players. We have our coach. You know, now it's time to really get to it. So,
so give us the names of the players, the whole team.
So we have Som, 17-year-old kid. He streams and plays a lot of FPL. Essentially, one of the biggest prospects in NA right now. And then we have Android, who recently played for Complexity, where they actually made a top 8 run in the Face It Major in London.
Okay.
And then we have Fugly, who recently was playing for NRG. He's actually played on a lot of North American lineups that were very successful. He played, I believe, on like CLG, played on Liquid for a time, and he's been on NRG for the past, I want to say, 3 years-ish. So very experienced player. He's a great person to have, I think, is like a pillar of the team, just carrying a lot of experience and stuff. And for me being the in-game leader, I think that's super important to have kind of like someone that's like that, along with JDM. So
do you feel, so you said you were kind of the shot caller as far as getting this team together. Do you feel like players on Team Envy have more of a say in kind of the decision making? Is that something that exists, or is that across the board? Like any team you go, the people in charge, the powers that be, are looking to players to kind of say who's good, who do you want to play with, who do you want to work with? Or maybe you as a captain, maybe they're just coming to you because you're a leader.
Yeah, so it would be different if there were like 4 of us and we were looking for one. But since a couple weeks ago, it was just 2 of us. It was just myself and JDM. And actually, when I began this process, JDM already kind of had like a vacation planned for a friend's wedding down in Brazil. So he just happened to be traveling during that time, but I was still staying in touch. So it was kind of like myself and Zach, our coach, working together on putting together like a list of names and just figuring out like, who would be the most feasible. It was a lot of like on my end. Like I spent a lot of time thinking about it. It was something that was very important to me because I wanted a team that I could be excited about, you know, and I think I have that. So,
and JDM was just kind of like texting like, KK, thanks, bye.
Back to the club.
Back to the club.
Yeah, it was
taking off my shirt right now in Brazil.
Initially, when he just got to Brazil, like he got the news that he didn't want to hear, which was like, I think the very day that he got there, it was Karrigan messaging the group chat like, "Hey guys, I think I'm going to be going with mouse boards, so sorry, but wish you guys the best of luck and all that." So he was unhappy at first, but I sent him a message. I was like, "Look, man, we're going to be good. Just I'll take care of it and I'll keep you in the loop."
So Karrigan was somebody that was strongly considered.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Karrigan, 99% of the time, we were his number one option.
Really?
And I don't think anyone in the CS community knew that. Like, there was like, there's North, Optic, Mouse Sports, all these teams. Mouse Sports came in with a big swing at the end, but
they're
for the
EU
longest
based, correct?
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that, I'm guessing that was the differentiator he wanted to be over there?
Yes, but also he had one thing where it's like, if you were to join this team, even if Mouse Sports hit him with the offer that they did, he really wanted to bring another tier 1 player along with him. So at the time, like we were thinking like Tarek, but we probably weren't going to get Tarek because NRG was just, they were going to swoop him right away, and he wanted to join them. So the chances of getting him were very, very slim. And we were just going through a bunch of other names, and it was hard because most of the other names were European, so we would have had 2 Euros moved to Dallas, and that whole process, let alone, is very difficult. Whereas like Karrigan, even for the 5 weeks that he was playing with us, he did a lot of like preparation, in moving to Dallas. Like he was talking to like tax guys and how to sell his flat, right, and like with the things he needs to do in order to make the move go smoothly and stuff like that. So he was already making preparations. So it was exciting, but.
So what are some of the factors you take into consideration when you're scouting for potential teammates? Obviously, they have to be available. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they you can. I don't know how contracts work.
Yeah, I think. Well, I wanted it to be as easy of a process as possible, which meant I wanted to focus on all the free agents first and see if I could get what I wanted on the team just from the free agent list. It would have been much harder if we tried to get someone from a team. But I mean, like I said before, it's like, I wanted them to be good people.
Yeah.
Because I think that just correlates straight into being a good teammate, just in general. Someone who can give and receive feedback in the right manner. All of these guys are open-minded, right? You have Sam, who actually, one of my favorite things about Sam is just the fact that he's 17. And when you have a player like that on the team, usually they bring this like life that's like, it's his first team. He's excited. He wants to be.
Everything's so new and fresh.
To play 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? He's laughing. It doesn't matter if, statistically he's playing what would be considered poorly or something. Like he's still going to be laughing, enjoying himself, right? Because he's just happy to be here. And for somebody like Josh, who's a much older player and he's been in the scene for so long, like that is like a reignition to the spark, essentially. So it's very, very important for the rest of the team to have somebody like that. Whereas actually, like Josh has voiced it already to me. He's like, "Man, I'm really glad we have Sam on our team." It's like, yeah, dude.
Does it make you feel like the old guy now?
No, not really, dude. I still kind of feel like I'm like the center man.
Yeah.
Like in between. Android's actually older than me, so is Fugs. I'm still kind of somewhere in the middle there. So.
Yeah.
So you said, big part of the decision making is what kind of person they are. That's something you can't see in stats. That's something you can't see on HLTV or whatever. How do you as a player really get that insight?
It's actually I've always thought like it's hard. Like how do I, unless I know them and I've talked to them a lot of times throughout the years, maybe at different events and stuff, like how do I know what kind of person they are? How do I know that if I get them on a phone call or get them on TeamSpeak or Discord or something, like that they're not going to just tell me what I want to hear, you know? Like how can I make sure that they're a genuine person? And the thing is, you really don't know. You really don't know. You kind of just have to use your gut. You have to use your instincts. And I trust myself with those things because I'm generally a very instinctual person. So I got good vibes from all three of these guys. I think they were all very genuine when I was in that process with them. So it went smooth, honestly, smoother than I had expected.
So here's the thing that I mean, we get constantly. Jay gets the brunt of it, wanting to join an esports team.
Oh, yes.
And so they'll send questions. They'll be like, hey, here's my reel or here's my stats. Like, I want to be a part of the team. How do I jump into that? And a lot of what people aren't considering is that aspect, the teamwork, the mentality, who you are as a person, and who you represent yourself to be. And I think in this day and age of social media, that's probably one of the most telling factors. If you like go through their Twitter profile and see how they're engaging with people and what they're saying to people when they're getting criticism online. And I think as a lot of these younger people are growing up in the scene, you got to behave. You got to like understand that you're representing yourself constantly, whether it's you on stream, which I mean, again, like with Psalms being a streamer, you can see at least how he's engaging and interacting with his audience, with other players. Like, what is some advice you'd give someone who wants to become a part of an organization who's just starting like that? Like the things you're looking for.
Yeah, so again, the genuine aspect is super important, which usually you can tell if someone's genuine by their consistency in the way that they speak, how they speak about things, how they treat other people that they might not be involved with them at all. I mean, we could use like Sam, for example, playing an FPL game and you're playing with some person that just moved up from the FPL C league, and you have no idea who they are, but how does Sam treat them? Is he like, oh, this guy is trash, what I mean? He's got to go, or is he kind of like understanding, that like, okay, yes, these players, they're going to need time, right? And you have to like kind of respect that. It's more of like a happy thing for me, I think. when looking at those traits, it's like, do they feel like the world is attacking them? You know what I mean? Do they seem worried about a lot of things? It's like, because I think if you're somebody that's on the right path, then you're just following what it is that you want to do, your dream per se, and you're staying focused on that, and a whole lot of things around you aren't really bothering you, and I kind of noticed that with Fugs, even though he's been on so many teams, he's still like motivated to play. He still has so many things to prove, and I believe him, and I'm going to support him, and I'm going to try to help him get there. And the same thing with Android, same thing with Psalm. I just think it's not something that can be taught, to be essentially what you just explained. It's like there are a select few, I think, because a lot of people will think too hard on it, and it's like, oh, well, how do I be this way? Yes, you can improve yourself in all aspects, but it has to be genuine.
I think
there has to be an experience that happens to you where, like, it changes the way that you think. It changes your whole approach to everything.
Right. I think you either give energy or you suck energy. And people don't want to be around energy suckers all the time. Yeah. Energy sucker.
Energy sucker.
So
yeah, it's true.
No, but the power of positivity is real. Yeah. You can almost will things into existence.
Yeah, dude.
I was having a drink the other night at a bar, and dude walked up and just said, you seem really like happy and smiling. Like, I'm going to buy you a drink. And I was like, cool, man. Like, you don't know me. Like, you don't know anything about me. But he just came up and like spread positive energy. We ended up talking the entire night. Ended up finding out he was a really good looking dude too. Had lost, I think it was like 150 pounds.
Wow.
And I was like, how'd you do it? And he said, it's willing things into existence with that positive mindset. He said, I had to tell myself every single day, this is what you can look like. This is what you can be. This is what you can act like. And he just kept on and on and on and on and on, and eventually like it became true. So
Yeah.
it's like, what is that old saying? Confucius says the man who says they can and the man who says they can't are both usually right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Oh, look at this.
I mean,
Deep. We're getting
That's very true, though. Yeah.
No, yeah, I get the same kind of feedback from my therapist about stuff like that. Just you can't. I mean, if you think you're gonna lose, if you think you can't do it, you're obviously not gonna be able to.
it's self-sabotage. Yeah.
Yeah. And as humans, like, it's just natural for some reason for us to be self-destructive.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
hard.
It's something that like we need to work on.
It stems from fear, I think, and not being able to control everything. And we spend so much time worrying about things we can't even control.
Yeah.
So I think once you're willing to like
huge
let that go,
conversation of like, just only controlling the controllables. you
Exactly.
know? It's like,
Yep.
and being able to recognize the difference, and not giving yourself a hard time about something that you don't need to,
Right.
So you had a lot of control in this situation, getting this team. What kind of? That's a lot of pressure. I feel like potentially as well too. So I mean, is that something you prefer things to be? You want to be that type of person to lead and take these people under your wing potentially, especially Sam being a younger player, or eventually do you feel like you want somebody to kind of take on that role?
It just keeps coming back to this, dude. It keeps coming back to me just being in this leadership position. And it's like, yes, I've had other things, other desires where it's like, well, I want somebody else to lead so that I can, learn more about this role, or here's the thing. I just don't believe that there's a better in-game leader in the North American region than me. I don't think, I think like playing with Karrigan, like I would have been perfectly fine with having him lead, and I could have been like his right-hand man, kind of just helping him with a lot of things.
I think a true leader knows when to follow. I think that's what makes a great leader.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like Karrigan would have been somebody that I would have loved to play with, and I did enjoy playing with him, and I sponged a lot from him in the 5 weeks that we played together. But yeah, it keeps coming back to this. I mean, ever since the start of my professional CS career, where it's like in Selfless, for a long, long period, I was essentially leading, like even outside the game, because I was playing with younger players as well. And it's like, even though I wasn't the oldest one in the group, when we traveled around, like I was kind of like dad, just making sure that like everyone was good. You know what I mean? And in Renegades, like even though there were older personalities around me, and as there's somebody who could have been a leader the entire time, I think it just keeps rolling back to this, dude. And honestly, I love it. I think it's just something that I'm a natural leader. So I think it's just something that I need to embrace right now. And I recognize that. Like as I was building this team, it's like, it's like I'm gonna leave this team. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be my team. We're gonna take it to the top too. And like what you said about having like Sam under the wing and stuff like that. Like the most important part about this team to me is giving all of my teammates, but most importantly players like Sam, players like Android, the space to grow and develop and figure out what kind of players they want to be, and just always making sure that they're comfortable. I do not put like restrictions on players. I don't give them shit. It's like we're going to approach everything, I think, what I would consider to be proper. And we're going to take care of things one by one, easily. And it's very important to me with this team that like Fugly, JDM, and myself are like the pillars surrounding those two players so that they can rise to be the players that I know that they can be. Because again, us three are the most experienced, so we kind of need to show that in the game. And I think with this team, there's a lot more of a relationship between myself and Zach, the coach. I think there needs to be like a sacred, like bond that the leader and coach has. This is something that I learned that I want to do differently compared to what I had on Renegades with Kassad. Kassad was a fantastic coach, but we didn't have like this like united like bond together. We didn't have this like wall to make sure that like this gets done. We're going to do it like this. You know what I mean? We had each other's backs. We listened to each other, but there was nothing like that. So that's something that I want to build with the coach here.
And does that come with communication outside of the game?
Yes. Like organizing practice, making sure that we're always prepared, just kind of building and reciting to the team how we want this team to be. You know, like essentially like a team mission statement. You know, always having positive self-talk. You know what I mean? Just talking. Like it's like when you come into the team speak for practice, for matches, you know, whether we're doing just server time, where we're like theory crafting ideas and stuff like that, it's like, you know, we come in the right mentality. You know, you come to practice, you come to play, and it's important for all of us to respect each other and our ideas and opinions.
Get your mind right.
Right.
My teacher used to say it all the time. Jay, get your mind right.
Something that Astralis, best team in Counter-Strike right now, I can't imagine that they go into server time or they go into practice or matches and they're not, even outside the game, using their time efficiently. I feel like their time management is insane. And just like they do everything to the best of their ability. And like that's kind of like what I want this team to be like, you know? Because I think that's kind of like true professionals. I think there are a lot of teams in CS where they approach a lot of different things lazily, but they also do a lot of things right. And you know, they may get very far just because everyone's very talented, you know, and they practice for themselves a lot. But
just individual merit.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's some teams now in CS that have shown like, dude, it doesn't matter if you have a star-studded roster, but if you have a team, a true team, you know, that work together and they respect each other and they know how to approach everything together, then they can beat anyone. They can beat any star-studded roster.
So when I think about dream teams, the 96 Chicago Bulls, basketball fan?
Yes, but I'm not familiar with that team.
So look it up. If you don't know who this team is, you should know who it is. It's got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, like all these key players. A lot of people don't know that Jordan was in the league for like a good 5 years before he won a championship, and they just assume like he just came in and just dominated, but he really didn't. He had to like build these like role players around him, and that came from excellent coaching and Phil Jackson. But so there was players who were enforcers. Dennis Rodman was an enforcer. He was that mean guy that could be tough, and Jordan didn't have to be that guy. He was more finesse. Jordan was the leader. Then you had the scrappy guys like what was his name? Oh, white guy. I can't remember. Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was like a dude who he wasn't going to dunk on anybody, but he was good for a three in the corner, and he knew his role, and he's like, I'm going to hit that three every single time, Jordan. You're going to draw all the attention. I'm going to kick it to you, and it's going to be great. So I think you have to have role players to build that championship team. So talk to us about the roles. You talked about you guys being the pillars. What other roles are needed for that special sauce of a championship team?
You know, I have an idea of what that looks like, but it's still a lot of those things are still stuff that I need to learn along the way. But that's the way I see it for like my team right now. It's like, yes, the three pillars. In Counter-Strike nowadays, everyone kind of needs to be able to do every role. You know, the game has just grown so much. The skill ceiling has gone so high. You know, it's like there is no such thing as a lurker, as a, you know, there is one entry fragger. You know what I mean? Yes, there's usually one in-game leader and one opper, but you know, everyone kind of just needs to be able to understand how to do everything, you know, because that's how you can play the most versatile on every single map, every side. So I just think that if you all have the same goal and you all really want to achieve that goal and you want to achieve it as soon as you possibly can, you know, even if that's a year down the road, then you're all doing whatever it is that's necessary in order to complete that goal. So it's really hard, I think, to just point out a couple different things that would make a championship team.
You have a trash talker on the team. That's what I'm trying to get to.
No. Oh, okay.
You have a trash talker.
All right, but I'm glad you mentioned that because so now this is my first time ever kind of playing with like a hype man. So Sam, because he's young, likes to yell. he just likes to yell, scream. You know what I mean? Like he'll be like, nice. You know,
But that gets you juiced, right?
I know, dude. I love that. Right? I'm not necessarily a hype man. I like to, for my own sake in the game, like I kind of need to feel calm and in control of myself. You know, there are times though where like you get excited, right? But some players can just do that and then thrive, you know. So I'm really happy that Sam does that. I think having a hype man is super important. So even if I notice like even if he's not playing like the best game or whatever, like he's still so happy for like everyone else playing well together. It's just like nice, you know. And I'm like, yes, keep doing this.
The power of a hype man. Justin, are you gonna be my hype man?
For what?
For life.
For life?
I just need you to walk
No,
around.
isn't that
with
what I
me.
hired you for?
Am I the hype man? I'm more of like Nifty Steez. Like I just calm, cool, and collected at all times. I don't get too loud.
I guess so.
Sure.
I guess it depends on the event. If we're at a I guess I have to be the loud one when we need
Justin
to get
steps it up like
really,
we're trying
really
to make an
loud.
announcement in a bar.
I
I'm
think
like,
so. Yeah.
Hey guys, over here. Can I get your tent, please? Justin's like, hey, Dallas Fuel fans.
Yeah, I mean, I've had
Giveaway
to do a lot of
time.
that. So that's important though, because working in events and working in different fandoms, the energy that you project is the energy you get reflected, right? And so that works on a team, that works in pretty much any situation. So if you're projecting negative energy, you're going to get negative energy coming right back at you. If you're projecting loud, energetic, positive energy, that should hopefully come back as well too. If you're kind of monotone and then it's the same. So having that person amplify everybody else, I think is really important.
And it's really got to be genuine too.
Yeah.
Because you can't fake it. You know what I mean? And like some people will just know. Like if you're faking it, and it's just like,
Hey guys, welcome back to the
kinda
channel. Got another Minecraft video coming at you.
yeah, it's really
You're
got to
like,
be.
"Ah,
Because I
kill me."
remember there was times in Renegades where it's like somebody would like yell something, but it wasn't like all the way.
just going
It was like, let's go, guys.
let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Hey. What are the phrases? What are the hype phrases? Let's go.
Let's go is a big one, and I don't know where it stems from.
I don't know what the origin of let's go.
Yo, for some reason I say a lot of like, let's go, baby. Like just from like COD, because I was like so big in COD. I mean, in CS, like a lot of people love to say like nice, you know, like, and then everyone has in like their different languages little like things that they
Variations
say,
of
you know, like
I think mine's like the Fawn's like, hey. When I'm like, hey.
I'll just go with some woos.
yeah, oh,
You know,
dude,
Ric
there's
Flair.
woos everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots of woos.
Woo!
I like that one.
The Flair. The Ric
Yeah.
Flair. Okay.
Rick the Flair,
Rick the Flair. The nature boy.
Rick's flaring.
No, that's good.
Hype noise. Then that goes back to the conversation we had the other day, where it ends up becoming transposed into emotes and spam in the Twitch chat or
Yeah.
whatever all those are. So we gotta start. We should build some new ones here for Envy, like I don't know, around Som or something. What's he got on his chat? I need to go to his Twitch.
We got to
channel.
watch more Som.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this kid. He sounds like a really positive young man.
Y'all are gonna
so
meet him, bro. We're gonna do a boot camp in like 7 days.
Good times.
So
Ooh, exciting.
Yep.
I just love positive energy, man. Like somebody.
I
giving
need
off
more
energy.
of it. Like the older I get, and this is the same thing talking about, like, as you do things longer, the less excited you are about them. And so when somebody else comes into the space and is bringing that excitement, it's contagious. And it's good.
Did I
Yep.
provide that for you? Because I'm relatively new to the industry.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that was
like,
kind of a thing.
I came in bright-eyed, like at Funimation, just looking at all the Piccolo
Bright-eyed,
statues and the
bushy
Goku statues. Like, wow, it's like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, but for anime. This is
Just like,
amazing.
oh, this is every day.
You're like, oh, you want a tour? Really? All right,
Justin-
follow me.
Justin just looks at Jay. He's like, this guy's got a sparkle in his eye.
No, I'm like
twinkle.
and I'm like, when's it gonna die?
No,
Just waiting.
just counting the days.
See, oh my god, that's a whole nother topic too. It's just like something I've learned about myself is like I love to just stay busy with like so many other things. I like to have a lot of things going on because look, when you're a CS player, it's hard to have a lot of other things going on, but for me, it's like if I don't have anything else happening, it's just like I feel trapped. I feel like I have like if I'm not doing anything, I feel like I have to be playing CS, watching CS, studying, creating things, you know, like whatever it is. And it's like I'm not that type of person who will do that for even longer than like 6-7 hours. You know, so it's like, what do I do with the rest of my time? You know what I mean? So it's like, and then that's when like other players probably play like other games and stuff like that. But I just, yeah, dude, I love having like 40 different things going on.
So what is Noah doing right now? What's the off CS time Noah doing?
I think the biggest thing for me lately is kind of just being more interactive with everyone around the office and just doing stuff with Envy.
I've seen that.
Like us going to like PAX and stuff like that. I love that. I've never even been to a PAX. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of good things from just people around the office that have been to a PAX before. And obviously like I love working with like Shay and Ryan just for like merchandise stuff. And it's like when I get the time, you know, there's going to be a slot for all those things. It's like merchandise, for example. I want our stuff to be cool. Like, we're going to have cool stuff. And I think just bringing Envy to a whole nother level in front of the community, the industry, is, I think, like one of the most important things that we could do right now. Because it's like a lot of people won't understand what happens in this office, but like, we have incredible like talent and personalities here. We just need to like find our thing. It's like the same thing as a CS team. I can take everything that goes on in this office and pair it with what happens in a CS team. It's crazy. I was actually able to do that. And it's like, dude, just like tweaking a couple things, a little bit more time here, you know what I mean? And then we can be like so good as an org. Like it's going to, and we already are. Like I consider us one of the best orgs at all. So it'll be interesting.
So if Justin stops throwing in real life, then
yeah, Justin, stop throwing.
Man, what am I?
I buy power, Justin.
Well, I've transitioned a lot of my time right now to specifically working on events. We've got the huge event coming up here, the Overwatch League one, Ultimate Weekend, and that's a month away now.
Deep breath, jeez.
A lot of planning to do, a lot of manufacturing of like items, the promo stuff, you know, things that. You know, thunder sticks, like just all that goes into it. I've been making visits to the venue at the Ellen Event Center and the hotel, planning autograph sessions, stuff with Jack in the Box, you know, all that good stuff. So it's a lot, and I've transitioned a lot of the content and social media time into that for this like upcoming week. So that's a challenge that anyone in any job in a smaller org especially has, where you're doing a lot of different tasks that are in very different directions. So if you're taking that, you said you can apply what we do here to a CS team. Is that something that is hard to do? Like, do you want people to focus on their job and not, I know you want everyone to be able to do everything, but they need to have like a focus. Is that still as important?
No, absolutely. Like having... Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference there. It's like in CS, because there's a lot less people involved, you know, it is okay to have split focus, and that's the word I'm going to keep using right here. But like as a unit is what I want to call us here, having split focus for some people can be difficult. I think the most important part is that we all at Envy have the same goals, although we might be working on different things. We're still talking to each other. There's still that communication between everyone in the office, so that, you know, just having that open line, making sure that this person can talk to this person, right? And even if they might be working on completely different things, everyone's still aware of what's going on. There's that same general direction. There's that same goal that everyone's working towards. And, like, that's how a CS team needs to operate. Although everyone will have different jobs inside the game, it's like everyone has the same vision. Everyone has the same goal. We all want the same thing, right? We all want to win the round. Well, guess what? We all want to have an incredible Overwatch event, right? Like, so it's...
I think even the fans play a role in that. The fans have a role to play. I mean, they're as much a part of this as we are.
Yes.
Because they're, you know, why we have a job.
Right, yeah.
They tune out.
I mean, you know, the esports wouldn't be anything without fans.
We're all shooting at the same target. Just keep that in mind. Like, we may have difference of opinion.
And that's why we should, and that's why, like, it's the same idea that everyone needs to push, is like, everyone should be supporting each other in like everything. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if what you think you could do and or are doing, you could do it better, or like, you know, there's different ways of doing it. I don't think this guy's very good at his job. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. I think everyone is really capable, you know, of doing something, even if it's something that somebody would consider is no way this guy can do this. You know what I mean? You just, like, we need to support each other. You know, everybody needs to help out, right? And even give constructive feedback, you know, of like how maybe you would do it, and then give specific examples. And, you know, because this is the same way that I would do it in my team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same exact thing, and it's like
that can be hard.
It takes time. It does take time, but just always making sure that we're moving in the right direction is just the most important.
And as a leader, that's a tough thing to do, because, you know, for example, you probably you have a lot of skill sets already under your belt if you're in that leadership position, probably. So you have an understanding of what everyone is supposed to be doing, and you might even be able to do it better than that person's doing, but you can't because you have to do XYZ instead. And so you have to train up that person, educate them, and guide them to getting better at that, rather than just doing it for them. And I think that's like a thing you have to grow and learn.
And absolutely, like it's something that you need to learn as a leader and be okay with. Like, you need, first of all, everyone's ego needs to be on the shelf, right? And as a leader, it's like, even if it's a match for a tournament that you really want to qualify for, you know, or you're in the tournament and you want to get to the semis, you know, and it's like you really want to win this game just for the life of you, you know what I mean? But like, if you are just not trained up enough, you know, or you have players doing roles, or, you know, something's going wrong there, it's like you just have to be okay with it. It's not okay as a leader to be like in the game, no matter how important the game, to just be like, get out of the way, you do this, I'm gonna do this instead. It's not okay, because players they'll see that, and in the moment, some may be able to drop it, but some will also ponder it and be like, dude, that
level of confidence that person just
Like,
lost as well too is like, that's long term, like a detrimental thing.
What's going to happen next time you're in that situation, that very same situation, you know, backs against the wall, they're going to think you're going to go rover again.
Yes, you have to just trust them. And if it doesn't work out, then the most important thing that you can do afterwards is just you know, you discuss it a little bit, and the most important part is making sure that they understand, okay, I need to do it differently, right? They need to acknowledge and understand and put all of that together. But if they're not, that's when it's a problem. You know what I mean? If they're like just electing to not listen or try to understand the topic, or if they're not trying, you know, then that's when it's not okay. But as long as they're in the good mentality space, like, it's okay.
So what are some steps you would take? Walk us through, let's hypothetical. One of your teammates is just not performing. They're just not on the same page as everyone else. What are the steps you take? Let's say you first notice in a game, big game, you end up losing that game. What are the steps that you take from there?
I think, in what way? Like, performing as in, like, do they seem nervous, or do they seem...
Their mind's not right. Their mind's not right, and it's affecting their play.
Okay. The best part about that is that is all controllable by them. That is all controllable by them. It's not like an outstanding problem, like, oh, he just can't place his crosshair on somebody. You know what I mean? Like that, because that's like, I mean, that's also a controllable, but that takes a lot of time, you know, to build up the consistency there. So if it was a mental thing, I think the way that you would approach it is, you would still support him throughout the game. You would support him after the game. I think as a leader, I would talk to that person. I would have my coach talk to that person one-on-one, and just display the fact that we do support you, and we're here to help in any way possible. And also, one thing that I'm really good at is, like, I understand what it is that somebody may be going through mentally, especially in the game, and it's like, it's all fixable. Like, it is all fixable. mental blocks, dude, are one of the biggest things with professional players.
It's pretty common.
Like, that is the like only thing, you know, because everyone that plays at the professional level generally has the mechanics, you know, and often game sense of most players to be able to compete there.
Right.
The only thing that ever holds people back are the mental blocks. So it's just being in like alignment with what it is that you want, you know. So when somebody's having those mental blocks or issues, they're usually not, they don't have it out in front of them that they've thought about before or even written on a piece of paper, like, okay, what are my goals? You know, what is my goal here? What kind of player do I want to be? You know what I mean? When I enter the server, they probably haven't done enough visualization. They probably, you know, a lot of things that they probably feel underprepared, just a lot of things that would make them crumble mentally, you know? And then there are players that feel like, you know, like, you know, this team is supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. We'll be lucky to beat them. You know, I'll be lucky to perform well against
it's a
them.
negative energy.
You know, yes.
Shake that off.
And that is the one thing that cannot exist.
Right.
It cannot. So I would personally have like a lot of discussions, and I would get literally in the trench with him and help that person because it's like the whole reason you're a part of this team is because you're capable, you know?
How do you feel about constant positive reinforcement? And when I say that, like, it sounds like it's a good thing, but one of my pet peeves is getting praised for something that like isn't worth praise, because then it doesn't feel genuine and authentic. Like, if I did something well, like, that's good to acknowledge it. But if like I did something not like great, we should critically look at it rather than just be like, oh, you're doing a great job.
No, don't. You know, if I feel like something is not done that well, I would never say to somebody like, "Oh, great job." You know what I mean? Never. If I feel like it can definitely be done better and that person can do it better, then I would always tell him. You know, I would always provide the proper feedback in the right way that would allow him to do so. I think you kind of just like brought up a good point. What did you just say? Like right before that,
about like constant positive reinforcement.
So,
you need to be critical about
Yes.
your performance.
If you're getting it every day, if somebody's telling you good job every single day, when you actually do a really good job, it kind of takes the impact out of it, I guess. Like, you don't, it's not as meaningful. It's not as
like,
genuine
I'm just
or sincere.
doing my job. So here's I guess this is how I look at it. If I'm doing my job, it doesn't need acknowledgement that I'm doing a good job. If I'm exceeding what I need to be doing, I'm like, good, you're doing your job. It's good you're doing your job, not good job. If I'm doing something beyond that, then it's like, hey, man, that was really awesome. Like, let's keep trying to work towards that.
Okay, yeah. So the idea just came back. Okay, thanks. He's
back. He got his mind
right. So you were talking. It's like there's a branch to it where it's like, should I be excited about this? You know, it's like, okay, is it worthy of being excited about? This is something that I've just been doing over the past like week, 2-3 weeks. It's like, so before, I felt like the only time I could ever be excited was like if I qualified for a tournament, we made playoff bracket. You know, like almost like the bar was set so high to be excited, and it's just like, it does not have to be that way. It doesn't matter if you're an all-star player or you're, you know, a 15-time champion in Counter-Strike. It's like you can't just set the bar at like, I will only be excited if I win this tournament. You can't, because then how many times are you going to be able to do it? You have to be excited every time, even for the small things. It's like getting this new team together, playing through that open qualifier, and then just winning some of those close qualifier matches. I was just like, I'm just excited to play. Like, I am excited, you know, and that's like something I couldn't really say before. Like, it was really difficult for me to say that. And I just, like, I realized, like, you really need to be excited all the time. Every day, you need to be excited about something, even if it's something small, and you feel like, I don't know why, but it's, like, natural for, like, us to feel like it's, if we've already been there, done that, it's below us, and we shouldn't be excited about it ever. And that is, like, completely unacceptable. You know what I mean? Like, we should be excited about it all the time. It's like, I I'd already done one of these podcasts, but I'm still excited to be here a second time. You know what I mean? It's like, I just think that's super important for players, because I think a lot of players struggle with that, and they feel like they can only be happy when they win. They should only be happy when they win. Like they're like so angry getting second, and it's like that whole thing of like people fight like if you're not the champion, you should not be happy, until you reach your goal, or like whatever. Like you should only be happy if you win the tournament. That is bullshit. Like, no, it does not have to be like that at all. Like you should be excited every time you go somewhere, because that's what's going to put you in the best mental state to actually perform and achieve that goal. And It's like I'm learning that, and it's like it's taken a lot of different routes in order to reach that point for me. But I'm excited the fact that I'm learning that. So
Hey, yeah.
Back to your question, Justin. Coming from a different realm of thought, for those who didn't know, I worked with adults with cognitive disabilities for 10 years. And one of the things they always taught us was you praise in public and you criticize in private. And that's one of the things that always stuck with me. You want to shout from the mountaintops. And in internet and gaming speak, we call it shout outs. Shout out to this person, shout out to this person. It makes you feel good. You're saying it to everyone. Shout out to this person for a specific thing. If you're going to criticize, you always do it in private. One of the other things that we were taught is you praise, but it has to be specific praise. Hey, I like this specific thing that you did, so that it's reinforced, and hopefully you do that again if you want them to do that again. Versus just the good job.
And that's definitely straight to parenting as well in general. Like that's the thing I had to learn a lot. Like if your kid does something like good job on the dishes tonight, like not just good job, you're a good human being, like
like, oh, I don't know what I did, but yeah,
you kind of need
to good.
Attach it to something more meaningful, and it's funny because like as a leader, you need to do that too, I'm like, hey man, you threw this flash extremely well, keep doing that, and it's just always, and that's like one thing for our team, like always just pointing out those positives. Always. What I've told the guys the past 4 days, because we had 3 tournament days, 1 practice day, is I told them, I was like, after the day, guys, take 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all you need. And think about all the right plays, the right decisions that you made today, the right moments where like your teamwork was great. You threw a flash for somebody, or you reacted. You heard what they said, you processed the information, and you reacted accordingly. Think about that for 5 minutes, and I can guarantee you'll come back tomorrow and you'll be better. You'll be better than you are.
We should do that every day for just life, honestly.
Just shut it down.
No, everything, with life
take
as well.
10 minutes to appreciate the things that you have, and the great work you're doing.
All right, so at the end of every podcast, we're going to take 5 minutes.
You're going to tell me something that you love about me? Is that what's going to happen? I'm all about this. Kang, you going to jump in on this? Kang, the cameraman? Tell me something nice right now.
Tell us.
Lay it on me. I need to feel good. Positivity sinking right now.
He's like anything.
Just looking at me. He's like,
y'all got me on the spot.
But that's really good practice. I actually think that's
you should do that in life.
Try to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
5 minutes, because I actually just made an Instagram post yesterday where I put like a caption. It was like probably like 4 or 5 lines, and I was just saying like I always stay in the present. Like I don't think about anything even 5 minutes ago. I don't think about it because it doesn't matter, right? There may be things that you want to do differently, whatever. But I always stay in the present, because when you're here in the now, that's when you're going to perform your best in all cases. If your mind is here, and it's like I said, I stay in the present, but every day I spend like a few minutes thinking about all the things that I will do in my lifetime, and just kind of like assessing what I've done like in the present, and like what I want to do in the next 10 minutes, what I want to do today. And it just reassures me of everything that I'm doing now, you know, like I'm in like the right place.
And I think a lot of people get too focused on the future as well too, right? So
and you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. That creates anxiety, and future is something you can't control. Again, things you can't control. You can only control here and now. And so whether that here and now is going to be right now or right now, like those are the 2 things I could have controlled. I can't control what's going to happen in 10 minutes because there's so many things that are going to happen between now and then. But when you put your mind there, And the same thing, I've talked to my therapist about a lot of this stuff that creates anxiety because it's an uncontrollable variable that you have no idea what's going to happen.
Fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And anxiety is never good. I think people get anxiety confused with certain positive aspects of life where like, well, I'm anxious about this. I'm like nervous. It's like nervous is different than anxious. Anxious means you're stressing about something that you can't control and it's negatively impacting your like mindset. And being focused on the present, like you have that control. You can you know, if you're nervous about it, that's one thing. You can change nervousness into something positive because you can make it like you perform better. But if you're anxious just creates doubt and creates anxiety. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why like as people we think so much about the future. You know, like it's really weird just being in the moment and being like the best like version of yourself that you can in the moment is like the most important thing. And it's crazy that, you know, talking about like anxiety and stuff, I think there are a lot, especially in this generation with there being social media, you know, and you're always watching other people's ideas, opinions, and lives, that like you start thinking about the future because if you're not in that position, but you want to be in one of those positions, you know, because you're watching all these people, it's like you're self-diagnosing anxiety for no reason at all.
Social media can be very harmful in that way.
Yeah.
If you're looking at somebody's Instagram feed, you're literally seeing just the highlights. You're only seeing the snapshots of like, you're seeing the beautiful picture of the person. You're not seeing the 200 selfie attempts that they had to take to try to get that perfect shot. Plus the filters, plus the editing, like all that. You're only seeing like the best of the best, but if that's all they're posting, it can be kind of damaging because you're immediately comparing your life to theirs. Like, oh, look how bright and colorful, and they're on a boat, JDM, with the shirt off and the gold chain swinging in the breeze. Like, yeah, that shit can mess you up.
Man, like honestly, just J. Cole said it best. Listen to J. Cole, Love Yours, and like he talks about how like nobody's life is better than yours. Like no matter what struggles you're going through, like it doesn't matter because you still wouldn't give anything to have someone else's life because you know yours is like
you can't.
You love yours.
It doesn't matter.
You know what I mean?
You can't. That's the thing that also like I'll be honest kind of freaks me out sometimes when I think about reality and all of my experiences, and this is going to get like super meta, but like your complete understanding of the world and life is solely your own and no one else's, which is awesome, but also like incredibly overwhelming sometimes to think about it that way. That the entire reality is just in my own head, and maybe none of this is real. Maybe I don't know what
simulation,
you're
the Matrix.
I don't know.
It doesn't even matter what's like real. Like
it doesn't matter because it's my experience,
right? What is real because like you make whatever you want real.
And
That's
that's purely your own experience.
Yeah,
and like if you think about that without getting freaked out, then you realize that like it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing in their life because my experience is all that ultimately matters to me. I'm not saying to be a selfish person, but I'm saying like don't worry what everybody else is doing because they're not doing what you're doing right now. It's kind of weird.
Imagine you're walking down the street and you see like a cute girl or something, and you're like, you think to yourself like, man, I'd really like to talk to that girl, but let's be real, like she won't even acknowledge me. Then it's real. Then it's real at that
you
point.
Just made that
you know
not
what I mean?
happen.
You made
that happen.
You made that a reality
yeah.
for yourself, right? But if you didn't have that thought at all, and you were like instead like, oh, I want to approach this girl, and
With
I think there's
doubt.
a very good chance that we can like make something out of it. You know what I mean? I can put up a good conversation, and we can vibe together. It's like, well, then that's real.
It won't happen unless you do something,
right?
But when going back to the social media aspect, like people are telling you what you should and shouldn't do all of the time, and we listen to it because we keep seeing it. And media, I mean, I went on this whole tangent before about how I was raised by media. So my perception of reality is what I saw in movies and TV. Now, my parents are great and all, but like they didn't teach me all of that social aspect of life. I learned that from watching movies and TV. And so you try to emulate what happens in those, and that's not reality. Like it's so crazy, but it seems like reality because that's what you're constantly seeing. And social media is the same thing because it's just this, media version of life that isn't like what people actually do. And as long as you keep following that, you're never gonna be satisfied because that, again, you're never gonna accomplish that, whatever it is, good or bad. And then with social media, people are telling you, constantly criticizing you, right? Your gameplay, whether it's your fashion, whatever it is, and everyone's trying to inflict their personal.
Everyone's a critic.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
keep worrying about that, can't positively.
I love it
impact
because I'm able to look at that stuff and just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to just like laugh a little. It's like I'll go on Reddit sometimes and I'll read like. The most ridiculous comments. It could even be about me, just anyone, and I'm just like, bruh. How do you even get to a position where like you're typing this out? You know what I mean? And it's I've met some people in the past, I want to say year or two, that use social media all the time. I mean, they're on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, whatever it is, all the time, and it's like their personality, who they are, is almost like not even who I feel like they should be if they were not on social media all the time. Like they've adopted so many of other people's ideas and opinions and made them their own and twisted them a little bit, that it's like it's really weird. It's like, man, like I use social media often, but I do it in like a healthy way. And I also don't speak a bunch on social media. Like there's a way that you can do it and you can do it just fine. You know what I mean? But your perspective is super important. So I would just recommend it to everybody that, you use social media in a healthy way. So
not using social media in a healthy way, let's talk about like leak boys and when all these roster leaks start coming out. And how does that affect your mentality and what does that do? Like we understand that leaks are bad, but what does it actually mean?
I don't know. It's like with leaks, for me, I always think it's cool if things didn't get leaked, but it's so hard because you have to talk to so many different people, and like some people, when they find out information, they want to tell other people because they want to make other people feel like
it's like a juicy grape that they just have to share with everyone.
They think like, I got the info, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's like if you don't have any content of your own, that becomes your content. Like, I'm going to post this information that nobody has, and this makes me unique and special, and this is going to be my claim to fame.
And I mean, there's people like in the CS community, they like it's pretty much like their job. Like DK, for example, like he does a lot of the like leaks and roster changes or big things that are happening, that you would want to be on the news, right? But like when it comes to roster moves and stuff like that, like I really wish that like it just didn't leak, because I think it's the coolest thing when like a brand new roster gets together and nobody, like people can speculate, but like there's no even half guarantees, where it's like there would be a post like sources say that so-and-so is in talks with mouse sports or something. You know what I mean?
It's like peeking at your Christmas presents almost.
Yeah,
it ruins
it. It's like, man, I think a lot of the community,
but the fans love it.
Yeah, they do, man.
And they reinforce it with the likes, with the shares, with it being blown up on Reddit. Like every time it happens, the fans are reinforcing that leak.
So are they reinforcing the leak, or are they reinforcing that this information is important and should be like a highlight? Because what leaks do for an organization or a company or a movie studio is it takes away from their initial plan to create this awesome, amazing campaign to announce this new thing, whatever it is. And then once you take that away, they're like, well, that's not worth it anymore. We're going to pull all this money. We're going to pull like our resources, and then it's done. So thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
You get like a fraction of what we were going to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like there should be like a big announcement, and it's cool. You know what I mean? Like how many people had figured that Odell was going to go to the Browns?
Not I.
You know what I mean? Like
that was out of left field.
Like it's shocking, but like it's cool. I don't know. It's I always thought, in my opinion, that just roster moves like that are like when there's a big announcement, there's a proper PR announcement, maybe there's cool content and videos attached along with it that could entertain the community, and the fans of that org.
Do fans enjoy teasers though? I'm kind of torn. Like,
I think it has to be a really clever teaser.
What makes a clever teaser?
I don't know. But that's like the whole creative side. It really depends on like the player, because it can't be too. I remember when I got teased. There was like a 20-second teaser for me joining this team, and it was just like my I Am City clip, and it's just like the caster in the background. I think he even says my name. I don't know.
Oh, it was in connection with JDM.
Yeah.
It was Hastro watching the match, and then
he tilts back.
Back
he does the JDM lean back. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. I mean, like those were cool, but it's like anyone who's watching those too are gonna be like, oh, I know that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really hard. It is hard. Like,
so the most recent example, we have the problem, I think, of overhyping announcements, and bravo to our media team. But the most recent one in memory is our Corsair announcement. Corsair has the pirate ship emblem, so we're like, what can we do that's kind of subtle but kind of like in left field, so nobody guesses it, but they're not gonna. Hopefully they don't mistake it for a player. So we post a little image, like a little moving image of the ocean and a boat sailing. And everybody's like, what the hell's going on? Hydration confirmed. Like, you forget all these players have like weird names like toast and hydration and water and like these common household items. So you can't really post a picture of anything without it being connected to something at this point. And it's really, it's tough, man. We're trying to make it fun and engaging for the fans.
It's definitely difficult.
But I'm starting to wonder how much they enjoy it and how much they just want us to, this player's coming out.
You should do it like,
welcome.
We should just announce everything like how like Eminem dropped his last album, just like
out of nowhere,
out of left field.
It's just like Apex coming out.
Yeah,
and sometimes you
like
have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that just because of time constraints. You just get it out, get this information out, because we have to get something else
or
out.
It's gonna leak. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, leakers.
Man.
So when something is 100% wrong, like you see on Reddit, and they're like, oh, this guy's definitely going to this team, and you're like friends with this guy and having conversations, you're like, wrong. Do you guys just laugh? Like, how hard is it to like keep that information in?
Yeah, there's been a few times where like I've been involved in like where like somebody would post something and be like, sources say that X is in talks with Nifty, and I'm like, nah.
Nah, bro.
Nah, they're not. They're not, but it's, but yeah, you have a little bit of a giggle and stuff, but I mean, there's not really too many places you can take it to. It's just, you enjoy yourself a little bit, but
and there's no way to prevent this. It's just,
yeah, there's really not.
Stronger
honestly,
NDAs.
I always get curious about like who does leak? You know what I mean? Like, how do the people that release these like leaks and give out this information, how do they find
it's
out?
Got to come from within, right?
Like, it's like, I know that there are some players that they don't care. They don't care, so they'll just like talk about it to whoever, or, but they just don't put any like extra thought into it. Like, like how would this affect this guy or this team?
So that's something that I would like to ask. And when it comes to players, you're obviously more aware and engaged with the organization you work for, Envy, and a lot of players like to do that. But then I feel like more players just want to play and focus on their mechanics and winning and skill, right? For the most part.
Absolutely.
And so they don't think about all those moving pieces that happen around like the community, the organizations, business. Is that something that you think players as a whole should be aware of? Or do you think like for the most part they should just focus on their gameplay?
Well, all they're obligated to do is focus on their gameplay. So you can't really hate on them or anything. Or even really expect them to care too much about all that other stuff, but I think it helps everything in general. If more players were aware, they did care a little bit more about all that extra stuff. that surrounds roster moves, team announcements, just any kind of announcements. I think it would make a difference. I think it would also just give off the vibe, this, I'm a professional,
Do you think
care.
that, so you're saying I'm a professional, right? Like when we think about traditional sports players and their involvement with their teams and organizations, like I feel like there's a lot more scrutiny placed on them to operate within the constraints of their team and the league and all that stuff. Like there's expectation to do that more so than there is in esports. Do you think that's something that esports should move towards overall from an organization standpoint?
I think that's a good question. I think yes. But also having the freedom, is super important to do, kind of like still have your own, ideas and like do whatever it is that, you want to do or say whatever you want to say. Like I think that's important too. But I think probably just stressing the importance of like, look, let's not talk about this, just like really, really pushing that. Because everyone's got their every player has their group of friends that they talk to, and then their friends talk to their other friends, because it's like the whole thing of like, I know information you don't. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, I think so. I think it should be a little bit stronger in that sense.
I can see that.
Let's take some questions from the Discord. We got some questions coming in for you,
Oh
man.
yeah, Envy fans, let's go.
So Mr. Miner, shout out Miner, longtime fan, asked if you could design one piece of Envy merch, what would it be? And he also says, hand him a piece of paper to draw it. We got the paper.
Oh,
make that happen.
Some paper slid in there, sliding into that.
Oh man.
While you're working on that,
boy.
he also asked favorite TV show or / movie.
Favorite TV show, Supernatural. I've watched it for all 14 years.
What is this?
That is like your entire life.
Yep.
Wow.
When I was 7 years old, I started watching it with my mom, and it was it became like a religious thing. Just like as I was growing up, to like we watched it together, and then as I started traveling and stuff, we started watching it apart. But we would still sometimes when I got to come home, for their
Supernatural.
for those two
I have
different.
no idea what Supernatural is.
Okay, so
out.
man, it's one of the most amazing shows ever. Actually, they just announced it a day or two ago.
Yeah, how's that make you? Is your heart breaking?
Yeah, dude. No,
Hold on.
I'm super sad. They're ending the show. Season 15. They're ending it. But no, it's just about these two brothers that basically become monster hunters. And their dad was a monster hunter.
So this is an anime.
No, yeah, and it's just man, the story is so comple when it gets up to season 14,
Yeah.
dude. There's so much. There's so
14
much.
it has to
There's so
be.
much okay, so listen, for the very first time ever, at the end of last year, I rewatched from season 1, episode 1 to season 11, where I started remembering, this what happened, and I just noticed that there were so many things that I forgot about, and it was the most amazing show that I've ever rewatched. I was so happy to rewatch it.
You clearly haven't seen Game of Thrones.
No, I have. Yep.
And it's better than Game of Thrones, they're telling me right now. You're going to go on record. Lean into the mic.
I put it above Game of Thrones just because I think it has that sentimental piece to me, just because I've watched it literally ever since it aired. The pilot with my mom. So
okay,
that's the only reason why I
sweet.
place it above Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is a great show, but yeah, dude, if you haven't watched Supernatural, you gotta watch Supernatural. I'm telling you, and just pay attention to how the brothers and how their relationship develops over the seasons, over the years. It's just it's just amazing, dude. Especially when I rewatched it. And my favorite movie, by the way, Interstellar.
Nice.
Oh,
actually. It's tied with Good Will Hunting. But
Spike1302 asked, one player you would like to play with before you retire. Thinking.
There is no one player. I don't need a specific player. I don't care.
That is the most PR answer I've ever heard. That was great. He also asked, no, he didn't ask anything else. He said, I thought somebody else was going to be on the podcast. Yeah, we're working on that. If you're in our Discord, you can see his other message.
All right.
So how's that merch coming along right now? We got fire over there? My man drew a blank tee.
Okay, we're going to pretend it's a crew neck sweatshirt.
So we got the crew neck.
Yeah, it's a crew neck sweatshirt. Look, I can't give out these ideas, all right, but
And see, someone else might make them if we don't lock them in now. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of new stuff on our store now. If you guys haven't checked it out on nv.gg, we do have a new merch line with our partners at EGL.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And those are the staples. Every team needs those, but we're about to have some cool stuff.
We're still staring at a blank T-shirt on this piece of paper.
I'm not gonna draw anything on it, but I'll tell you this. It's a crew neck sweatshirt. And these are probably my favorite ones to design. It's just like this, essentially.
So for our listeners, he's wearing a Guess sweater that probably costs...
It's a crew neck sweatshirt.
Over $200.
These are probably my favorite ones to design. I think what a lot of teams do, they do hoodies, and like they try to like...
Are we beyond the era of hoodies? Are we...
No. Hoodies are still like an essential.
Okay.
But
essential.
But like the way that esports teams, the way that they design their hoodies is like so boring, dude. Like, I think 100 Thieves hit something with like they just did something different, like a little bit more trendier. But I think like instead of I hate the word merch first of all, but like. Like we're gonna make cool clothes, bro. Like we're gonna make cool cloth items.
How do you feel about apparel as a word?
I use apparel over merch, but like
apparel's sexy.
Just clothing, just like clothing.
Merch can
like,
be anything that you sell. Apparel is specific.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just hate the word merch because it's like it makes me think of like a Teespring $10 T-shirt.
Dude,
and it's
bro,
like, there's nothing wrong with
that merch, bro.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like to me, like, and everyone will feel differently about that, and they're completely entitled to. It's just. If you are okay with wearing like rough fabric, then you've never worn anything of good fabric. You know what I mean?
I like burlap sacks.
And with quality, it's just like, man, it doesn't matter what design is on the shirt. It's just as long as it feels good. Because I swear to God, like a lot of the designer items, like you wear it, you feel like a prince, man. Everything feels like silk. Everything fits you better. It looks better on you. You look cleaner. That's just the way it is. It's like, that's like a goal of mine. Okay. But
fashion goals.
Envy. We're gonna have some dope merch. I'll tell you what.
All right, we're gonna have
crew neck T-shirt. Just imagine anything but a Envy logo on the front.
So we're gonna get in the lab and try to work out this design for you. We'll post a picture of it in the comments. We got to get out of here, man. Anything you want to plug real quick before we jump offline?
Yeah, go follow my new teammates on Twitter.
Yeah.
I want to say at Som. I don't know other ats, but Som, Fugly, and Android on Twitter. Look them up if you don't know. Also my own Envy Nifty, Envy_Nifty on Twitter. Instagram is NYNifty. And also JDM on Twitter, JDM Marzano. Yeah. And yeah, stay tuned with all the Envy because
lots of stuff.
Yeah,
we always got something.
We're doing
in the
cool stuff. I'll tell you what.
This over.
So as Justin talked about earlier, we do have Ultimate Weekend coming up. That's coming to you April 27th through the 28th. Tickets are still available as low as $35. If you want to come check out 8 teams from around the Overwatch League, this is your chance to do it in Texas.
Yeah, I think we may still have some of the Grandmaster upgrade packages left, which will get you access to the autograph session either Saturday or Sunday per Grandmaster upgrade. If you want to do both of them, get 2 of them. You're going to have those 8 teams with 4 players each signing on Saturday, and then you're going to have all of the Houston Outlaws and all of the Dallas Fuel, of course, on Sunday. So check that out. Go to DallasFuel.com to look for those tickets.
Don't miss out.
We're the 3 of us are actually going to be at PAX.
PAX East, baby. Let's go.
This week? Wow. Shoot.
Yeah.
I got to pack my bag. No, I am not packed. I need to do my laundry.
I've never been to Boston as an adult, so
bring
I'm pretty excited.
warm.
So if you're going to be out there, definitely find us. We're going to be walking around. We'll put a shout out on social media.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming.
Yep.
So
feel free to start a conversation with me.
Join the Envy Discord. That's discord.gg/envy. and you can go to the Queue Up channel and request future guests, ask questions to current guests. We'll try to make this more interactive, so I'll be reaching out and poking you guys for questions for sure.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening. If you could do us a huge favor and leave us a review, that would be awesome. That's on iTunes. You can also do it on Google Play. Can you do a review on Spotify? We had a question. You cannot currently do it on Spotify. That doesn't mean you can't listen to us on Spotify, though.
Yeah.
So definitely subscribe to that.
That doesn't mean you couldn't listen to the episode on Spotify, link it, and post it to Reddit with a review.
There you go.
That's something you could do.
That's creative.
That's awesome. I would
Yeah,
actually
definitely
work around that.
show it to all your friends.
Yeah. And then next week we got a super special episode. So next week's gonna be a little different. We're gonna actually change up the hosting for this. We've got some special guests coming
Some
in.
legends, man. Texas esports legends. Do we get to say who?
Can we say who?
Can we say who?
Not yet.
We can't say who.
Can't say who yet. Definitely tune in next week for that. Jay and myself will actually not be on it because we have these awesome special guests that we want to make sure they have as much time to talk.
We're giving them the stage, man.
Yeah.
We're giving them the mic. So
Yeah. It'll be cool. Don't forget to subscribe as well. If you're watching on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell. Subscribe to us on, of course, the audio versions on whatever platform it is you're listening to so you don't miss an episode.
Until next time, this has been Queue Up.